Imagine being one of the biggest movie stars in the world and then suddenly losing everything. Your reputation, your roles, your income, even the support of people in the industry. That's exactly what happened to Johnny Depp. For decades, he was one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood. Fans loved his unique characters, especially Captain Jack Sparrow. Studios trusted him to lead massive films. His name alone could bring audiences into the theaters around the world. But around 2016, everything began to change. A very public and extremely messy dispute with his former wife quickly turned into a global controversy. Suddenly, headlines about Johnny Depp were everywhere. News outlets, entertainment blogs, television shows. Everyone seemed to be talking about the same story, and the narrative spreading through the media seemed clear. Before many people even heard the full details, Hollywood began to distance itself. From him, major studios made decisions quickly. Projects that once had Depp suddenly moved forward without him. Some roles disappeared. Opportunities that once seemed guaranteed were suddenly gone. For fans watching from the outside, it felt like Depp had already been judged before the full story was ever explored. And that raised an important question. Who really controls the narrative in Hollywood? For years, the entertainment industry seemed almost untouchable. Big studios, powerful executives, and major media outlets had enormous influence over how stories were told. When a controversy happened, the public often heard only one version of events, through headlines and interviews. But this situation didn't follow the usual pattern. Instead of quietly disappearing from the spotlight, Johnny Depp decided to fight back, and what started as a celebrity scandal soon turned into one of the most talked-about legal battles in modern entertainment history. Millions of people began following the story closely. Clips from court hearings spread across social media. Discussions appeared on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. People who had never paid attention to celebrity legal battles before suddenly found themselves watching every update, and something unusual started happening. The public wasn't just reading headlines anymore, they were watching the events unfold themselves. This moment marked a big shift in how celebrity controversies are experienced. Years ago, stories like this were mostly controlled by traditional media. Magazines, newspapers, and television interviews shaped how the public understood a situation. But in this case, the internet played a huge role. Social media users started digging into details. They analyzed timelines. They shared court documents. Some people created long breakdown videos explaining different parts of the story. Others posted short clips highlighting specific moments. Then, when the trial finally began, something happened that changed everything. The proceedings were live-streamed. People around the world could watch the courtroom in real time. They could see the testimonies, the cross-examinations, and the reactions inside the room. Instead of relying only on media summaries, viewers were seeing the details themselves. This level of access was something audiences rarely had before. Suddenly, millions of people felt like they were witnessing the entire process directly. And because of that, many began forming their own opinions rather than relying only on headlines. As the trial continued, the internet exploded with reactions. Clips from the courtroom went viral almost every day. Some moments were serious and emotional. Others were strangely awkward or unexpected. Memes appeared across social media platforms. Commentators and legal experts began sharing their analysis. Even people who usually didn't follow celebrity news started talking about the case. At times, it almost felt like the entire world was watching the same event together. Some people described it as one of the first major trials in the social media era where global audiences could follow every moment live. But underneath the viral clips and online jokes, there was something deeper happening. The trial sparked a wider conversation about reputation, media narratives, and public judgment. Many viewers began asking difficult questions. How quickly should someone's career be affected by accusations? How much influence do headlines have over public opinion? And what happens when millions of people start questioning the narrative they were first given? As the trial moved forward, public sentiment began to shift. Discussions online grew more complex. Instead of a single clear narrative, people began seeing multiple sides of the story. For Johnny Depp, the trial became more than just a legal battle. It became a moment where his public image was being re-examined in real time by millions of viewers. When the trial finally ended, the outcome triggered another massive wave of conversation across the world. For Depp, it marked the beginning of something many people thought might never happen, a slow recovery of his reputation. Fans who had supported him throughout the process celebrated the result. Online communities that had followed the trial closely began discussing what it might mean for his future. And slowly, the entertainment industry started reacting as well. Some studios began showing interest again. Creative opportunities started appearing. Independent film projects welcomed his involvement. Directors and producers who had once stayed quiet began speaking more openly about working with him again. But perhaps the biggest impact wasn't only about Depp's career. The entire situation had started a much larger conversation about how stories are shaped in Hollywood and how public opinion can influence those stories. People began questioning whether careers should be destroyed before all facts are fully explored. Others discussed the role that media framing plays in shaping how audiences understand complex situations. And for many observers, the trial became something more than celebrity drama. It became a moment that showed how much the media landscape has changed. Legal experts and analysts later pointed out several interesting factors that made this case different from most celebrity controversies. One major factor was the transparency created by live streaming the trial, because viewers could watch testimony directly. They didn't have to rely only on summaries written by journalists. This gave the public a rare level of access to a legal process involving a major celebrity. Another factor was the rise of what public relations experts call a narrative battle. In simple terms, a narrative battle happens when two different stories compete for dominance in the public eye. For decades, powerful studios and major media organizations had the strongest voices when shaping these narratives. But in the age of social media, millions of individual voices can participate in the conversation. During the Depp trial, this was easy to see. TikTok creators posted analysis videos. YouTube commentators shared long breakdowns. Twitter users created detailed threads explaining different parts of the case. Instead of a single controlled narrative, there were countless interpretations being shared and debated at the same time. And that changed how the story evolved. Many media analysts later said this case showed just how powerful online communities have become when it comes to shaping public perception. Another important detail is how the entertainment industry responded behind the scenes. According to several insiders, the trial made studios more cautious about how quickly they react to public controversies involving actors and creators. In the past, companies often made fast decisions to avoid negative publicity, but the Depp case showed that public opinion can shift quickly, especially when new information appears later. Because of that, some executives reportedly began rethinking how they handle crisis management situations. They realized that making decisions too quickly could lead to backlash if the public narrative later changes. Meanwhile, Johnny Depp continued focusing on creative work. Instead of immediately jumping back into major Hollywood blockbusters, he explored different artistic projects. Independent films, music, and international collaborations became part of his new chapter. Fans remained curious about what he would do next. Each new project sparked fresh discussions online about whether his career was truly making a comeback. And the broader debate about Hollywood power structures continued. Some people believe Depp's case showed that the public can challenge dominant media narratives. They argue that social media allowed millions of viewers to look deeper into the story and form their own conclusions. Others believe the situation was unique and may not change the industry permanently. But nearly everyone agrees on one thing. The world watched this story unfold in a way that had never happened before. Instead of hearing about a celebrity controversy through filtered headlines alone, audiences experienced the process almost in real time. They saw testimony, reactions, and arguments directly from the courtroom. And because of that, the conversation surrounding the case became much bigger than one actor's career. It became a discussion about truth, perception, media influence, and how quickly reputations can rise or fall in the modern age. Today, the story of Johnny Depp's legal battle is often referenced when people talk about the changing relationship between celebrities, media, and the public. Some see it as a turning point. Others see it as a rare moment that captured global attention. But either way, It forced many people to rethink how narratives are created and how easily they can be challenged. And now the question remains, did Johnny Depp truly change the power dynamics in Hollywood? Or was this simply an extraordinary situation that may never repeat itself? That's something people are still debating today.